So the trailer for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man just dropped, and honestly, I have one gripe about it. But before I say that, let me actually talk about the good things. I'm gonna be honest with you, I like the art style. You can tell a lot of animated shows are trying to take part in the Spider-Verse type of comic book, real staticky, fast-paced art style. And honestly, bro, it's not that bad of a decision. Given the success of the Spider-Verse movies, you can see why a lot of studios will try to take part in this type of style, because it's what maybe the younger kids are actually leaning to. Those movies were actually revolutionary for its time. To give an example, the new Puss in Boots movie actually took part in that kind of type of comic book, more fast-paced style, and the movie actually turned out really well. I like how when more and more good animated movies come out, it kind of just sets the standard just higher and higher, and that's what we need, because a lot of the times, if there's nothing to set the standard, then a lot of movies won't be as good as they are now, and that's why I feel that cinema is gonna last forever. And so let's not forget the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that actually kind of dibbled and dabbled into this style also, and the movie was not the best. I'm gonna be honest with you, the pacing was really off, and it didn't feel like the story really had much direction. It was just kind of just throwing stuff at the camera and hoping the viewer, you know, would be entertained by it, but the art style was actually good nonetheless. One thing I will say, I actually like the suit choice for the Future Foundation. I like it when Marvel tries to add different types of Spider-Man and different type of Spider-Verses in their TV shows. I do like the Future Foundation type of choice here, but one thing I don't like the regular suit. Every single Spider-Man movie or TV show, if it's showcasing a younger Peter, they always try to have, you know, the starter suit, you know, the homemade suit and stuff like that. But you have to do it in a way to where it's, you know, nice and simple, but you can tell that he's just now starting off being Spider-Man and that he's still growing into that more mature, you know, experienced Spider-Man role. And this one, it doesn't really feel like that. It feels like this is kind of like in like a weird, distant future. Does that make sense? So when you kind of put this type of kind of disorienting, kind of tacky looking suit, and then later on in the show you give him the Future Foundation, I don't know, it kind of throws me off. And how do we go from, you know, the traditional colors like red, blue, all, you know, straight to black and white? Given that this suit was apparently given to him by Norman Osborn, we're going to get into Norman Osborn later, so I can understand how we will go from, you know, the traditional colors straight to the Future Foundation, which I do think is a good choice. Like I said, it's almost like with them using that type of starter suit and that type of style, it's almost like they're trying to be different instead of just being uniquely them in that universe. Now it kind of is uniquely them, but Spider-Man starter feel. Now if we look at other TV shows and video games and movies in the past, you can actually tell that Spider-Man is just now starting off. Now I don't know, it's just this one, it just seems off to me. So I guess you could say that's one of the more negative things I would say, but I'll get into my other things later. So I actually like that the show is starting off with a younger, more or less experienced Spider-Man. It gives the show more to work with in the future. And I'm actually kind of curious what they'll do with Venom later on in the series, because, you know, they're already starting off with the Future Foundation suit, so maybe he won't actually like that suit. You know, the Future Foundation suit is already black and white, so I wonder how they're going to do Venom later on in the series. I don't even know if this series is going to go long enough for them to do that. And if I could touch on the actual environment in the actual universe, I actually kind of like it. It's more like a distant future, but still current day type of Spider-Man. One Spider-Man that I actually feel like this kind of like feels like is kind of like the Ultimate Spider-Man and the Spectacular Spider-Man kind of mixed a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the whole environment and the whole style, I mean, it looks pretty cool, it looks pretty pleasing. But one side note I actually want to get into real quick is that people were complaining that Norman Osborn was black, and I'm gonna be honest with you, coming from a black person, at least I think I am, it's not that big of a deal. It's really not. I mean, let's think about it. Yes, we know that Disney's trying to push that, you know, push the agenda and try to add some more diversity onto their cast. I mean, Disney has been doing this for years. They've been doing this with different type of, you know, movies that's been coming out. I think they did this in The Little Mermaid too. I'm not sure. They're trying to push that, you know, that diversity and all the other type of stuff. But I'm gonna be honest with you, he actually seems like a menacing villain, and we don't even know if he's gonna be a villain. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be a villain, because I mean, not making Green Goblin a villain or some type of antagonist or anything bad is gonna be blasphemy. I'm gonna be honest with you. If they don't make him a villain, then that's gonna be crazy. And another thing I was thinking is, like, I don't know if that's Norman or like Nick Fury. Honestly, bro, I don't know. I don't know if that's Norman or Nick Fury. But nonetheless, I honestly don't think this is a crazy change. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm actually looking forward to Norman actually looking like this and him actually being more menacing. And that's not me saying the old Norman Osborns, the redhead ones weren't menacing. And honestly, bro, I feel like the people losing their minds over this foaming at the mouth are rage. Okay, now at my actual main gripe about this whole Spider-Man series. Now, the voice actor for this Spider-Man series is not really giving me the Spider-Man type of like, you know, the high charisma, snarky, always throwing out jokes type of Spider-Man, but also clever and nerdy. You get what I'm saying? It's giving me more like a person who's trying to sound like Spider-Man rather than you just naturally just having that type of charisma like Spider-Man. I mean, let's look at the Spider-Man PS4 series. Now, this takes place of whether, you know, with a more older, more experienced Spider-Man, but you can still tell it's him. Like when you hear that voice, when you hear them yelling out jokes and, you know, all this other type of stuff, you can still hear and tell like, oh yeah, that's Spider-Man. I'm hearing what Spider-Man would say. But it feels like in this series, it just sounds like he's trying to sound like somebody he's not. And it's kind of coming off as like awkward. A good example is the Disney XD Spider-Man. And it's like in that series, even though that Spider-Man was a little, I'm pretty sure he was still teen. And you can most definitely tell that Spider-Man sounded like Spider-Man. Just, you know, still sounded young, snarky. It seems like this one is just does not giving me that vibe. And I don't know if it's just me. This Peter Parker is giving me like Superman vibes. Like, why does he look like Superman? Like, hey, I'm finna go to a business meeting. Like, this Peter looks like he ready he ready to put on a suit, you know, walk through the school. Like, I don't know, bro. This Peter just doesn't look, he just doesn't look like Peter Parker to me. He looks too good, you know, like he looks too presentable. Like, you know, Peter Parker is a kid that always looks like just got out of bed, always rushing to his classes, you know, always got somewhere to be. Okay, little side note, I was wrong. So yes, this Peter Parker does look a little more presentable and like, you know, a little more older, more mature. We did get a glimpse of what that type of Spider-Man looks like in the Spider-Man 1994 series, and this Peter definitely looks more older and more like mature. I don't know if it's just me, but back then, like, this Spider-Man looks huge. I mean, look at this dude's physique, bro. That's honestly just insane. I honestly forgot that this type of Spider-Man existed, and I remember I used to watch this when I was younger. Anyways, enough of me yapping, back to the video. And I don't know if this series is trying to paint her as MJ. First of all, why is she so tall? Second of all, you can definitely tell that they're trying to take inspiration from the Zendaya MJ. Now, if that is her, then I mean, I really don't find an issue with this. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of something to add if that is her right there. But besides the voice actor being a little off for this type of Spider-Man, the series looks good. And if I could comment on the race swaps one more time, it's not that big a deal. Let's just calm down. This has happened plenty times before with, you know, TV shows and companies changing up their main characters' races. Let's just be happy that we don't see a black person named Peter Parker. Let's be glad that we have somebody like Miles Morales to play a black Spider-Man instead of like, you know, them coming out with a TV series talking about this is Peter Parker and he's black. Let's just be happy that's not happening. And like I said, once again, he actually looks like a menacing, more serious type of villain. I don't understand why the race change is like making people lose their minds and making people feel like, oh, it's not the same person. It's most definitely still him. Actually, we'll give this series a try once it drops. And yeah, like the video, subscribe. Bye.